Now let's talk about how calibration works on the Z31x and the Z27x G2. The display contains an internal colorimeter that lives inside this house that we see right up there. The colorimeter itself has the ability to wind itself down and park over a portion of the screen and make measurements of what it sees on screen, and then use that for calculations to generate a new calibration preset. You can also use a wide variety of external instruments with the display by simply connecting them directly to the display. We'll talk more about using external instruments in another video. The Dreamcolor displays contain an internal processor which is used for calibration processing and calculation. This processor is turned off by default at the factory. Now this is done because there are certain power restrictions that we must be under for a typical computer display to ship into some countries in the world. This can easily be turned on though via the management menu. To enable the processor, simply press any of the bezel buttons and then open the main menu. Notice that my calibration is dimmed. If the calibration menu option is dimmed, that's a good indication that the processor is turned off. So I'm going to simply navigate to the management menu, press select, and then navigate down to the internal processor option in the middle of the screen. I then simply choose to enable the processor, select, and then exit. The internal processor is similar to the processor that you have inside your phone. Therefore, it's going to take about 1 to 2 minutes to boot up. Once the processor boots up, the calibration menu is available and we can go into it. Notice at the top we have two options. Recalibrate the current preset, whatever it is named, in this case BT709, or configure and calibrate preset. If we chose the first option, recalibrate BT709, the display would simply begin the process of calibrating the existing preset. Notice it asks me to confirm what it wants to do. If I click select, calibration would begin. In this case, I'm going to press back and I'm going to choose configure and calibrate preset. This allows me to configure through the menus exactly how I want my color preset configured. My first option is to choose one of the color presets that I have currently available. Notice these are the names of the presets. They may say, oh, these are certain Adobe sRGB P709 gamuts. But remember, I can make these anything that I want. So if I, for example, have absolutely no use for BT2020, I could change it into something else entirely by simply selecting it and modifying its configuration. So I'll choose BT2020. The next option allows me to choose between a range of standard gamuts, all the ones that normally are available. We also have BT601 for those who are working in standard definition television, even the display native gamut. For this case, I'm going to make a special version of DCI. So I'm going to select DCI. My next option gives me the ability to choose from a variety of standard white points. These are not the only white points you can use in the display, just like it isn't all the only gamuts I can use. This is a menu of standards. As we'll see in another video, we do have the ability to create completely custom white points and gamuts using another method. In this case, I'm going to choose D55 film because that's what I feel is right for my target here. I can choose what I want to have for my gamma. In this case, I'm going to use a 2.6 because I'm going to choose a very dim, dark value. Choose select. And then from the standard set of options available, notice we have 100, 20 above, 20 below, and then the peak and min values. I can also go in and specify a luminance if I want a specific value. In this case, I'm going to choose 48. Notice after I've chosen all my options, the display now lets me confirm everything that I've done. It's a good idea to just quickly check to make sure that, yes, I'm going to modify BT2020. The gamut is going to be DCI, D55 film, 2.6 power gamma, and a luminance of 48 candelas per square meter. Once I choose confirm choices, then the calibration is actually going to begin. The calibration process takes about 5 to 7 minutes, depending upon the target value that you've gone to. Notice that my instrument has lowered down, and calibration will start. Now, certainly, I'm in a studio doing this video. The studio lights are not necessarily the lighting that you want to do when you are calibrating your display. And the reason for that is I have lights that are shining right on the display, so there's a greater risk of reflection bouncing into the instrument. We recommend that when you do calibration, you do not calibrate where you have anything that might bounce in the light. So no direct light hitting the screen. Just like you wouldn't necessarily work with a bright light hitting the screen either. Think about what your work conditions would be. The display will do its calibration, and again, in about 5 to 7 minutes, the process will conclude and our calibration will be done. In other videos, we'll see how we can go further into the calibration process and do additional adjustments to increase the quality and the options that we have available.